about the mother's memory in some way being desecrated. Uh, also that what I was saying, which is a preconceived notion that your this stage of life is over. You don't really, this thing is, it only happens in the movies, and come on, sort of just fall into the mold in which we see you, which is now, we'll be supportive, we'll come to you, you can come for holidays, we'll meet you, but you can't have a whole new adult life again. This is the place from which I think these children are coming. Now, this make a fool of myself is it is a certain opacity that there is between them and their father, because they see him now as a character and not this person. You understand? It's almost now like a cardboard cutout. A father of 67 years age, a widower of not my father with his needs, with his loneliness. What can the what I think the father could start with is definitely not. I've underlined that word: appease, convince. Um, he's clearly not doing anything wrong. So there's no need to appease and to convince. But yes, there is a need to build some kind of bridge, because otherwise it's very easy for this to go into limbo, for him to go hands off and say, okay, man, this is too scary. I can't do anything. I won't pursue another relationship. Or he can tell his children, get very intransigent with his children and say, you know, like it, leave it, or lump it, or like it. It's possible, maybe, because it's still in the early stage. I would suggest that maybe Vikram first ask for see if they're ready to do this. Ask for a Zoom meeting in which everyone is present, all the players, which is this lady, her two children, and his two children. Ask if they would be willing to do that, because I think that puts a little bit of formality into the situation. It slightly puts the onus on his children to, I'm using this word, to behave themselves, to be a little more formal instead of just playing out and, lashing out at the father. If they're even remotely willing to do this. The second thing, and possibly he does it earlier, is also maybe write to them. This tu meme on Zoom and calls, it's obviously turned into, there's a sort of collapse of communication there. Because ghum firke, they're all coming to the same thing, stop it, or you can't do this, or what nonsense. So maybe using his words, maybe emailing them separately, not as a composite uh, son and daughter, but separately to both. Perhaps a short, succinct email about what is missing in his life. They need to know it. Maybe they need to grow up on this count. One way they need to grow up is to hear from the man himself what is missing from his life. You know, uh, he could dismantle that making a fool of myself part by saying that, using the specific word that he's not a fool. First of all, anyone who's lonely and looking to, get involved with somebody, is, you cannot automatically assume that the other person is out to get him, out to trick him, out to fool him. But how does he put this across? The second step is this thing of, why don't we have a joint um, conversation? Not even a meet. Don't call it a meeting. A joint conversation, where all of you just get to meet each other, say hello and hi, and not get into very deep waters about what is wrong, why will you not do this. This is a formal families handshake kind of meeting. No panda talk really should be scheduled during this meeting, I think. But just as if you are just strangers who met at a coffee shop, where those youngsters get to know about this woman gets to know them, the two sets of young people know each other, and leave it at that. Schedule, say, just a 15-20 minute meet and greet, what they call a meet and greet. This is one thing I would suggest that Vikram try and himself himself lead the way into this. Ask for this, not appease, not convince. Ask for it. I'm requesting you as your father. These are the words. I'm requesting you. Let's do this and let's see where it goes. Before that, a letter outlining what his position is, his situation is. Not yet anything about money, inheritance, any such thing. And in that letter, the fact that he said it to us here, that he's had a good marriage, needs to reiterate that. You and me and your mother had an important, long, fruitful, meaningful existence together. But the sad thing is it's over. And nothing that I do from here onwards can take that away or wipe anything off. It's interesting that the other set, there's one set of the same age group, people who who are there already in a position to, they are more concerned about they want to meet the man because they just want to get a sense of him. They're being protective of their mother, they are not being critical. It's important perhaps for Vikram to acknowledge that his children, even if they're not putting it like that yet, but to acknowledge that I know you guys are concerned for me. And I think I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to be careful. And nobody is going to be hurt, neither your mother's memory nor you guys. And nobody will be obliged to do anything that they don't want to do. So tomorrow he's paving the way if his children say that, okay, fine, you do this, but she's not welcome in our house. We're not going to have anything which we do together. It's fine. He has to live with that. But he's paving the way by saying, everybody get engaged in this situation as much as they want. But for starters, let us do a virtual, coffee or a glass of wine or whatever it is that they want to do on that Zoom call. What is the possible, the important thing is for him internally, not say it to them, to be receptive to what they are saying and their fears, but not to be bullied. And I'm using the word bullied very specifically because it's sounding to me that they are almost already bullying their father. There is a bullying mode. One is to thoda shaming. I can see the sense of shaming by saying, don't make a fool of yourself. I can see him being bullied by himself, saying how to appease. You appease your bullies, you appease bullies. You convince bullies. So, but this is a word that I am introducing to Vikram for himself, not to lash out and say, stop bullying me, guys. I don't want to be bullied. It's for him to not get pushed into a corner and to deny some of his very natural and very, what seems to have very organically come about, I think one last thing that I'd like to say before we throw it open to you guys to talk uh, is that he needs to tell them that if there's any convincing, if at all, it's to tell them that he is taking it at a pace. He's not jumping into anything. He's not jumping the gun. He's not jumping into anything. He's not talking about marriage. They are talking just now about such a tiny unit of interaction. And what is that tiny unit? It's just a small vacation together. And a vacation together, I think, is a good measure of two people, anyone, not just across genders, not only in a romantic relationship, but with anyone. You and your sibling, you and your child, grown child. A vacation together is a good test case of how you'll function together, isn't it? तो मुझे मुझे लगता है कि शुरुआत से ही, इवन इफ ये बच्चे लोगों ने इतना एक कड़क स्टैंड लिया है, मुझे लगता है कि विक्रम का स्टैंड काउंटर कड़क he does not have to be, but neither does he have to become so apologetic. There is no place for apologizing is one last word I want to use here. उसको apologetic उनको बनने की बिल्कुल ही जरूर नहीं है. Understanding, yes. Receptive, yes. But not apologetic and not to be bullied. And to be able to convey that I am taking this at a pace. in which I'm sensitive to myself, to you people, to this lady, and to your mother, and to my life before this happened. Once he can convey this, and then if maybe give it a little time, tell people not to respond immediately to anything. You know, I'm sending you this email. Please take 3 days to respond to it. Could be one of the things he could do, so that there isn't that chakmak kind of you said, I said, she said kind of thing. You just do not encourage that. You know. Okay, let's open this to the room. Anyone has anything to say about this? Anyone has similar experiences, has observed something, experienced something, or has a completely different take on it? Please feel free to share. Firstly, wanted to know if people can relate to this. Is there anybody here who feels I can relate to this, whether as a senior, or as someone who's, maybe earlier experienced this kind of doubt in their heads about their parents, what's going to happen if one parent passes away? If anybody has any kind of um, it may be tangential experience, but experience in a similar situation. This is portrayed, of course, in literature, in films. There's plenty of portrayal of this kind of, second innings situation. Uh, that doesn't come out of nowhere. Come out of real life situations that a writer might be wanting to put their finger on how families need to, step up and change when a completely new situation is presenting itself.
He is trying to get rid of his loneliness, That's why this second innings he wants to begin.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes, yes, yeah. And
we pray he has
and
to come across with the children
hmm,
and ask them, yes, we can meet together, all together, and
hmm,
sit like
hmm,
that. You said
yeah,
right, just a conversation and meeting.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I think one of the things when older people say, I'm lonely, um, the mahol is such that it's possible that young people who are a bit ageist in their heads may think that there are only X, Y, and Z avenues for once you're old to mitigate your loneliness.
yeah.
मंदिर मंदिर जाओ, फिलोसफी पढ़ो, हॉबी करो, ट्रेकिंग करो, योगा करो, एक्सरसाइज करो.
Mm.
एज सीनियर्स वी हैव द राइट टू से ये सब करेंगे
Ah,
और रोमांस भी एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे.
love.
दिट्स नॉट म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव कि सिर्फ ये करेंगे फिर वो नहीं करेंगे.
Right.
सो I would even go so far as to ask a little later, ask my children if I was in this position to say, define making a fool of myself. What in your head is making a fool? So that you dismantle their sometimes people, there's a very lovely word in counseling, awfulize. People awfulize a situation,
Mm.
make it much worse in their heads than what really is the ground reality. So, and it's very natural. We all awfulize. We all awfulize. We feel safe by awfulizing, so that you don't have to accept what's happening around you, but you say, this is going to be so horrible, let's not go down that lane. So Nirmal, you're right that that it stems from loneliness, and there
Yeah.
is nothing. I think as seniors we have to all know that there is nothing pathetic. That word is thrown by people. How pathetic! Look at that pathetic old lady or that pathetic old man. I hear it about people who dress well. you know, uh, there may be a 70-year-old woman who dresses wonderfully, takes out all her nice jewelry, even for a minor, small outing. And it's like often very judgy. People can be very judgy about it being how pathetic. It's important for Vikram and anybody in this situation to know, first of all, that's why how do I appease? Appease is if you're saying it from a place of, I'm sorry, guys, I've screwed up. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but please let me do this. This is not the place from which we have to come. Anyone has to come, you
He has
know.
not done any mistake, So
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
he has not done any mistake, so he
No,
has
no, no,
no need to apologizing at all.
no,
Yeah,
no. And at the same time, like I said, he can go out of his way to maybe address some of the fears, which is about the mother, about the wife who has passed away, about the children's mother, which is that, and to just reiterate that we had a very good life, and there's nothing that will take that away from me, you, the family. That needs to be, I think, underscored. He It's probably not his place, because right now in this mood, he's not the person to suggest it. But ideally, I would think that this brother and sister need to seek at least a couple of counseling sessions with somebody, take this whole matter to a third person
that person, right?
instead of just the father, where the father has to be they are being judge, jury, and he has to be the criminal who's pleading his case. Better than that, to take it to a third party, if not a counselor, a lay counselor, like a
Yeah,
family elder, or even a young person. It's possible that they'll find their own age group who may
yeah,
counsel.
you're right. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
No, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Arya, were you saying something?
Yeah, I just want to say that I don't fully agree with the loneliness part
Hmm.
because I think loneliness is very common, but it's not always the reason. I think to find the right person, there's no right age as such.
Correct, correct.
So might be lonely or might not be lonely. We can't tag it as
That
loneliness,
is
is
true.
what I
That is
think.
true. It could be just looking for a better life, no?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. You're saying that it's true that, again, loneliness is kind of pleading your case. कि यार सुनो यार, मैं इतना अकेला पड़ा हूँ, प्लीज adjust. It's not that you're saying there could be very, very healthy positive reasons to seek out a
Right.
relationship. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
correct.
Yep.
Very good point, very good point. Yeah.
So, Gauri ma'am, sorry, I just had, I wanted to ask, okay, like, how do we, because we are talking about this case. I'm sorry for the noise. I'm actually traveling, so
Okay, that's fine.
apologize for that. Yeah. So, ma'am, where do you see the conversation going, or how, if there are grandchildren involved in the, in the case?
Yeah,
So there might be a different approach to how the father or the mother would actually, tell them about, because in this case, if it is just the son and the daughter, it's a different thing. But if there are
correct.
grandchildren in the family and
Yeah,
the father has to talk to them, it might actually, they might have to follow a different approach, is what I want to feel like.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think, but the middle layer is the parents of those grandchildren. They will have to, of course, if there are older grandchildren with whom you have an equation, with which, say, this man has an equation, then that's different, because it's refreshing how younger people are much less judgmental, and the love comes primary rather than the should and the wagging finger, which is likely to come from the children, the grown children. So but in this very sort of fraught, just now very tana hua situation, perhaps he shouldn't um, approach the children directly, small children, young children. However, should know in his mind that when it comes to that, you know, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be myself. And again, I think also force fitting is very avoidable. I, it can be months and months, maybe years, where, and I do know families where the second, whether it's wife or partner, whatever, is not willing to talk to the first person.
I think she lost electricity.
Yeah.
We lost Gauri.
Yes, we are having a bit of a jinx day. This is the second time. I think it's some power thing at her place right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in Pune.
Yes.
Oh.
I think she is on the back yet.
But it's really good to see Sangeeta here and Nirmal here. Thank you, Nirmal. Thank you, Sangeeta, for supporting us. We really appreciate your support. It means a lot.
Okay, we have Gauri just joining back in now, and I hope we will not have another interruption. Yeah, she should just be joining in a second.
Are we hearing each other?
Yes, we can hear you now, Gauri.
Yeah. I don't know what has happened. The lights have gone. There's something really strange going on here just now. But anyway, we can hear. Sorry, yeah, this is really breaking the chain of thought. I don't know what is going on. So just to get back to that point about the grandchildren that somebody brought up, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. It will take a little time, and the idea is that okay, the lights are back on. The idea is that the middle generation will have to come around. If they don't, we were just saying that it's it, the senior people will have to be patient and not mainstream this issue. Your children are not accepting me. Your children are giving us a hard time. I think it's important that everybody give everybody a lot of rope, and yet not get the seniors involved, not to get you know, hijacked, literally hijacked, emotionally hijacked by their children. That's important. But it's part of slow and steady is also not expecting all the players in this situation to get onto the same page very fast. This is something very important I want to say here. Yeah. I'm still going to in this hide and seek we're playing. I'm still going to try and get onto the laptop. I want to. Anyone else has anything else to say? Let's any other point of.
Just one suggestion, Gauri. Maybe you can stay on with your mobile phone for now because just in case if you have another power cut, then you'll have to switch again.
And let's just go with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. Because if I'm getting a lot of texts on the side from people I know
Yeah.
who are having some problems joining up and all that, we'll address those later for future sessions. Yeah. I'll send you their messages later. Some problem with getting onto the thing. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Any more suggestions? Anything? Any message somebody has directly to Vikram who has written to us to say this from the heart? As we said, this is one place where हर पहलू हर सवाल का हर पहलू examine करेंगे और that sense of community that we are sorting each other's issues by way of our long experience with life itself. I think that's the capital that all of us are bringing in here, besides whatever our qualifications are. So if anybody has something that they would like to say very specifically, Even if you want to just wish the person well, that's fine too. If we're if we can go to, there's one last, what I plan to do in every session is to take up a quick writing exercise, literally 2 sentences. It's not related directly to this Vikram's question that came up, not today's theme, but about, we'll take up all the big words that as you grow older you are told, you must learn to. So acceptance is one big word. Forgiveness is another one big word. Letting go is one big word. Today, in our session here, we're going to do a small exercise, which is, let's take the word acceptance and see how we can, how we can, instead of going after its very abstract nature of acceptance, can we tell ourselves what is in it for us, acceptance? It's okay to say acceptance is all very spiritual and all, but immediately, what is the advantage of acceptance of a situation? What is the immediate advantage? So I'm going to give you a sentence which, from next time, I'll put it on the chat, I think here, because now my laptop is not here. Here also I can put it on the chat, but let me just read it out to you. The sentence starts with 2 sentences. First one is, I need to accept that. Then you fill in whatever you want. I'll read you an example, but I'm telling you the format. I need to accept that something, full stop. Second sentence, because accepting this will, what is the advantage in accepting? Accepting this will dash. So here I'm reading you somebody's example. One gentleman has written saying, I need to accept that my son is very different from me in his attitude to money, full stop. First of all, he's put down what he needs to accept, that my son's and my attitude to money is very different. Obviously, it's a tricky trouble area between the two of them. Because he says, because, now he starts, because accepting this will, that dash he's filled up with, because accepting this will make me stop taunting, feeling taunted, and let me connect with other aspects of the father-son relationship. So here he's stumbled on why this thing needs to be accepted, because it immediately changes something for the better. So if anyone who wants to participate in this writing exercise will do this, start with, I need to accept that. Then you fill what you want. It can be a long sentence. And the second sentence starts with, because accepting this will, then what comes after that? You can put it up, you can read it. We are happy to, if you would like to write, Anita, people can unmute.
Yes, I can. Yeah, should I read it now?
Yours, you wrote one?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. The first one is, I need to accept that I can't change the destiny of a person no matter how much I love them.
Hmm.
And second one is, accepting this will give me peace of mind.
Okay. Yes. Even more specific, the second one, the second part, if you want for yourself, you can be even more specific. Because,
Okay.
you said accepting this will give me peace of mind, but maybe there's even more to it, which is, like this guy says, connecting to other aspects of that person then. Instead of being so focused on, getting the person to do better in their life or do something differently, maybe you can connect. So maybe some more specific advantage of that acceptance you could consider. No, you don't have to do it right here, but the line of the sort of thought you could have on this. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's okay for people to unmute and read, right?
Yeah.
Other people?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Please do that.
In the I have, though I'm not I'm not 60 plus, but I have something more from the caregiver's perspective. So I need to accept that my parents don't owe me an apology for anything,
Hmm?
because accepting this will take away my own thinking bias.
Okay. 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 And the thinking bias is what is leading you to
I mean,
having
I feel that the bias could be different for different people, but the thing is, when your own bias comes into the picture, then you seek an apology because you're not willing to accept the situation. That's
Hmm,
that's that's how I'm thinking. I don't know if it is right or wrong, but just how I feel about it. That
yes.
many times I think we expect our parents
Hmm,
to behave, to do things in a certain way which is acceptable to us, and
yeah.
when that doesn't happen, we just feel like that it is wrong. But that is what I was just trying to say, that
Yeah.
it's their life, they are individuals, and they, just like in the case of Vikram, which is to do with the relationship, but maybe it is to do with money or whatever. But we sometimes tend to feel, the kids tend to feel, I tend to feel that my parents should be doing things the way that I want it to be, which
Hmm,
may be right, wrong, doesn't matter, but that's what
yeah.
you
Yeah.
should.
Some extent, what Anita was also, I think, as sort of echoing, I mean, hinting at. Yeah. Yeah. I've got this same statement in Hindi, if anybody wants to. मुझे डैश एक्सेप्ट करना जरूरी है, वो डैश में आप लिखेंगे जो विच इज स्पेसिफिक टू यू. मुझे डैश एक्सेप्ट करना जरूरी है, इसे एक्सेप्ट करने से मुझे डैश मिलेगा. एंड आई एम सेइंग जस्ट सुकून is not enough. Sukoon to milega, but something even more. What is your investment in it? So we are not talking about acceptance as usko jane do, chodo, khadde mein jane do. That's not the form of acceptance we are looking at. We are looking at acceptance which then opens up other doors between you and that same person. Instead of you all knocking your heads on that, or knocking each other's doors for one specific line of changing between each other, changed behavior between each other. Are people finding this acceptance exercise difficult to do? You don't have to do it now. It's a homework takeaway. You can take home exercise that you can do. You can do it every day. You can do one every day, literally, you know, you know. So uh, I can do one right now and say, I must accept that my building's electricity is on some very strange disco mode, because by accepting it, I will not feel embarrassed and cringing about this aspect of today's session. There you are. That's my today's accept. I have to accept it. To accept it. Otherwise, if it goes on at the back of my head with full, gali galoch to the building management in the back of my head, and thinking of solutions like getting some gigantic, and now I will get my own, the gen set, so this will never happen again. None of that. I'm accepting it so that, I will find an on the ground solution, and I will also not um, feel so terrible about these glitches that happen. I'll feel appropriately terrible. Let me put that. I won't be uncaring or so what or casual, but I'll be appropriate. I'll have the appropriate level of emotion about the glitch if I accept that my building is currently doing some funny stuff. Yeah. So I'm saying this acceptance thing can be applied to minor everyday glitches as well as much larger issues between you and yourself, or you and somebody else. Anyone wants to share anything about the acceptance exercise? Even if you've not done it, if you want to talk about how what came up when you were trying to do it, it'll be interesting to know.
Sorry, Gauri, if I can come in. We are a minute away from 5 p.m. And though we've had a few glitches at the beginning and we
Yes.
lost a few minutes,
Yes.
but I would suggest that we still
Yeah.
conclude it on time,
Okay.
because
Sure.
yeah.
Let's programming. So one last thing then. We are meeting again on the 29th of November, 4 p.m. And I will just tell you, I'll just give you a sense of what our one thing is, of course, that we invite questions from all of you. You can send the questions to 88288-16060. And the other thing is that I'll just tell you next time's theme in brief, but your questions can be from anywhere from your life. But just to give you a little jhalak of अगली बार के theme के बारे में, the question is from Janaki V, and she is the theme is it is related to being over-parented, a senior being over-parented, almost policed by your grown children out of concern when the parent and the child roles reverse a little too strongly. That will be our theme for the next session, 4 p.m. on Friday, next Friday, 29th November. The details Anita has given about how to join up, where you can see it live. Do I need to repeat them, Shazib? Or no?
No, it's fine.
That
I
is-
think, yeah, we all the members right now are those who know it. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and sharing your inputs. I hope this has given us all food for thought. Finally, we turn to our own lives, even when we hear about somebody else's life, and relook at some of the ways we are handling our own emotions. Thank you so much. See you.